recreation. If you are familiar with yoga, this is a Vinyasa style based class, which means that it is a flow-like sequence, and oftentimes our inhales and exhales move us in and out of poses. You'll notice a lot of the times I'm cueing you to breathe just as much as I am to cueing you to move your body in a certain way. If you are not familiar with yoga, or this is your first time taking this class, that is a-okay. Welcome, thanks for joining me. I will not just call out names of poses and expect you to know where we're headed. I always talk about alignment and build us into a pose, especially your first few times through the pose. We do repeat poses a lot, so you'll become a little familiar with the poses that we're doing in this class anyway. And then I do want to point out at the end of the practice, for those of you who are new, that we end in a final rest period. We lay flat on our back, still with our eyes closed for about 2 to 3 minutes, and the point of that is to allow all the benefits of the class to absorb into our body. And not only that, but it's a time for reflection, a time to give our thoughts. Yoga is not just about what we do in our physical body, it's about getting to know ourselves on the inside a bit better as well. With that being said, I want to remind everyone to listen to your body throughout the practice. Today we're going to be working a lot with balance. If that is not your strong suit, that's okay. You can work around that. And when I mean be careful with your body, if something doesn't feel right, you can skip a pose, you can take breaks if you're feeling tired, and then jump back in when you're ready. And always check with the doctor before you start a new exercise plan. Today we're going to get started in a standing position. So stand at the top of your mat with your feet hips width distance apart, standing forward facing front. Stand nice and tall, root down through your feet, find length on both sides of the body. Relax shoulders down the back. And deepen the breath just a little bit here. And keep your gaze focused on one spot for the next few moments. And just follow your inhales and your exhales. And slowly start to resume your normal pattern of breath, or your natural pattern. Take your right hand over to left shoulder. Press that shoulder down towards the floor and let head fall to the opposite side for a nice neck stretch. Working to keep length on both sides of the neck. And maybe giving your shoulder a squeeze, massaging the muscles a little, moving up the side of the neck, down the shoulder on the outside of the arm, and then make your way back hand to shoulder. Lift your head through center, switching sides. Left hand comes over, pressing shoulder down to floor, letting head hang to opposite side. And again, giving yourself a little bit of a massage here, moving up the neck, down the arm, making your hand back to shoulder. Lifting head through center and lowering arms down at your sides. Lift both arms up to shoulder height, palms face up towards the ceiling, opening the front of the chest. Then lift both arms overhead, gazing up towards the ceiling. Resisting the urge to lift the tailbone up to the ceiling as well. Instead, send it long to the floor, draw low belly in. Let all opening come from the upper chest. Lower arms back down to shoulder height and down at your sides. So if you're feeling really tight in the shoulders here, they're scrunched up towards your ears, lower the hands a little in front of you, maybe thumbs just above the head, and you can work there. Again, let's lift both arms overhead, gazing up towards ceiling, relaxing shoulders away from the ear, core is engaged. So I gave you an option for less sensation. If you'd like more sensation in the shoulders, bring the hands together, interlace the fingers, leaving just the pointer finger extended, pressing the palms firmly together, pinky edge, thumb edge, extending arms high. Maybe even trying to bring them back right behind the ears. Relaxing shoulders away from the neck. We're holding here, opening comes from the chest and the shoulders. Nice deep breaths here into the throat Lower your arms down to shoulder height and give yourself a hug, wrapping arms around the body, lowering chin to chest. Opening the back side of the shoulders now, holding for a few breaths here. Lift head through center and lower arms down at your sides. Bring right arm up to the ceiling, reach to the tips of the fingers. Free hand crosses over and holds on to opposite hip. We'll add a slight side bend over to the left. Holding here, lifting chin from chest, core is engaged, not holding the breath. To release, we'll rise back up through center, lower arm down at your sides. Bring left arm up to the ceiling, free hand crosses over to the hip. Find some length and then add the side bend, core is engaged, holding here. Nice deep breaths. Inhaling to rise up, exhaling to lower arms down at your sides. Bring both hands to the hips, pointing elbows out to your sides. Hinge forward into half lift, hinging from the hips, bringing chest parallel to floor. Gaze is down towards the floor, belly's drawing in towards the spine. If you're feeling a lot of sensation in the back of the legs here, put a soft bend in the knee. Relax shoulders away from ears, and we'll take a few breaths here as we relieve some stiffness in the legs and lengthen the spine. Legs should not be locked out, tiny micro bends. Keep those legs engaged. Lower to forward fold, keep hinging at the hips, bending the knees enough to drop belly to thighs. Let the hands fall to the floor. Crown of head reaches towards floor, holding here. If belly's not touching thighs, bend the knees until you feel that contact. But keep hips reaching towards the ceiling so legs stay engaged, low belly's drawing in. Shake the head yes and no a few times, help to further relax the neck. As you inhale, rise back to half lift. Hands to shins this time. Gaze is to the floor, back is flat. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees, drop belly to thighs, arms and head hang towards the floor. Inhale, half lift, back is flat. Exhale, return to forward fold, belly touches the thighs. And engage your core and gently rock side to side. Rise half lift, flattening the back. Step your right foot back into a lunge position, dropping fingertips to floor. Left knee is stacked right over the ankle. Lower opposite knee down to the mat and uncurl the toes, top of foot to mat. Take a deep breath in through your nose as you lift left arm up to ceiling, into twist. We'll pause and exhale here. Left foot stays flat to the mat. Opening from the chest, twisting from the ribs and the belly. On your next exhale, fingertips return to the floor. Step back into a tabletop position, hands and feet on the mat, wrists stacked under shoulders, knees stacked under hips. Round the spine into cat pose, tucked into chest, draw belly into spine, then slowly lift and arch the spine into cow, gazing up towards the ceiling. Few more times at your own pace, rounding the spine to cat, lifting and arching the spine into cow. Let your tailbone lead the movement and then move the spine, rounding and lifting. Finish up here, finding stillness in your tabletop position. Step your right foot into lunge, foot in between the hands, ankle below the knee. Draw the breath in through your nose, lift right arm up to the ceiling, pause and exhale here. Take a few more deep rounds of breath. On the next exhale, fingertips come down to the floor. Tuck the left toes onto the mat. Lift that knee into the air. Lift up to tips of fingers. Send chest forward, holding here. Then lower knee down to the mat. Step back into tabletop. Lean forward into chaturanga, shoulders past the wrists, then bend the elbows, keeping them close to body, bringing chest down to the mat first, and then the hips. If that created more of a sensation than you'd like, however you get down to your belly is okay with me. Hands under shoulders, elbows up to ceiling. Press your hip points into the mat. Draw belly into the spine, and slowly lift the chest off the mat into baby cobra, shoulders wrapping behind the heart. Holding here, take some deep breaths into your chest. On your next exhale, lower the chest back down to the floor. Breath in, chest lifts, engage your core. Exhale to lower. Inhale, chest lifts. This time, plant your elbows on the mat, right into Sphinx pose. Elbows under shoulders, palms face down. Separate the legs to mat width distance apart. Wiggle the hips, help relieve the low back. Find some opening in the chest. Bend the right knee. The right hand, reach back and grab a hold of the foot from the outside. If you can't grab the foot, actively reach back for the foot as foot actively reaches for the hand. If you have hold of the foot and you would like some more sensation, particularly in the front of the thigh, start to slowly press the heel down towards the glute, bending elbow up towards the ceiling. Still early in the practice, so don't push yourself too hard. Listen to your body, take deep breaths wherever comfortable. Without slingshotting the foot, gently release, returning foot to mat and coming back to Sphinx, elbows to mat. Switching side, left knee bends, reach back, grabbing for the foot. You can stay here or continue to press the heel down towards the glute, bending the elbow. Keep the chest open. Keep the breath flowing. Gently release. Bringing chest down to the mat, hands return under shoulders, legs together. Press yourself into child's pose, hips to heels, toes touch, separate the knees a bit to make space for the belly, and rest forehead on the mat. Take a few deep breaths here in stillness. If you're uncomfortable here for any reason, try puppy pose instead, bringing elbows to the mat, keeping knees to the mat, and letting the head relax. One or the other will be your rest position today throughout the class. You're more than welcome to come here at any time if you need a rest. Slowly rise back to a tabletop position. Step your right foot into lunge, foot in between the hands. Draw the breath in through the nose, slowly lifting both arms overhead. As you exhale, bring hands together, lower them down through heart center, and release at your sides. Next inhale brings the arms out in front, up overhead. Exhale, hands together, down through heart center, lower hands down at your sides. One more time, deep breath in, lifts the arms overhead. Exhale, lowers hands down at your sides, fingertips back to floor. Step back into tabletop, knees to mat, and step the left foot into lunge. Draw the breath in through your nose, lifting both arms overhead. Nice deep breath, slow movement. Exhale out through mouth, lower hands down through heart center, down at your sides. Breath in. Exhale. Last time, breath in. Exhale. Fingertips to mat. Step back into a tabletop position. Plant your hands firmly to the mat. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Tuck toes onto the mat, preparing for down dog. Start by lifting the knees off the mat, engaging your core. Keep the knees bent for now as you send hips up to ceiling, pressing belly back towards thighs, gazing between the feet. Pressing firmly into the thumb and the pointer finger, hollowing out the armpits, broadening the shoulders, and holding here, not holding the breath. Look forward, start to shift your weight forward, step or place your right foot into lunge, lifting up to the tips of your fingers. Step up to half lift, feet together, hands to shins, back is flat. Lower forward fold, gently bend the knees, drop belly to thighs, arms and head hang towards the floor. Then tuck chin in towards chest and one vertebrae at a time, slowly round the spine until you're in a standing position. Take your time here, let your chin come up from the chest last. Once you're up, stand nice and tall with purpose at the front of your mat, palms face forward, root down through your feet, find length out through crown of your head. And on your next inhale, bring both arms back overhead. Exhale out through the mouth, lower to forward fold, hands come down through heart center, drop belly to thighs, let arms and head hang. Rise, half lift, flatten your back. Step your right foot back into a lunge position, fingertips to floor. Drop the knee to the mat and uncurl the toes. Breath in through nose, lift both arms overhead. Exhale, fingertips to floor. Step back into tabletop, hands in the knees. Lower down to chaturanga, leaning forward, bending elbows, keeping close to body, lowering all the way flat to mat. Inhaling, lifting chest, using the strength of your core into baby cobra. Press into your rest position, which is puppy pose, or child's pose, hips to heels, or puppy pose, elbows to mat. Deep breath or two here. Rise back to a tabletop position. Fingers spread wide, tucking toes onto mat, lifting the hips to down dog. Knees stay bent as belly reaches back towards the thighs, gazing between the feet. If you're not feeling much sensation here with the knees bent, try straightening one leg at a time, pressing the heel down towards the floor, then switching and doing the same for the other. Start to loosen up the legs this way before you try pressing both heels down towards the floor. Look forward, shifting weight forward, stepping or placing left foot into lunge. Rise to the tips of the fingers. Step up to half lift, hands to shins. Lower to forward fold, drop belly to thighs. One vertebrae at a time, round the spine, up to standing. Chin comes up from the chest last. Every time you come back to standing, stand nice and tall with purpose. Inhaling, bringing both arms back up. Exhaling, forward fold, belly to thighs. Inhale, half lift, flatten back. Exhale as you step your left foot back into lunge, drop the knee into the mat. Next inhale lifts both arms overhead, nice slow movement. Exhale, fingertips to floor. Step back into tabletop, hands in the knees. Find chaturanga, lean forward, bend the elbows, lower all the way down. Inhale, lift chest to baby cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Rise right back to tabletop. Let's keep our heart rates up and find down dog, hips up to the ceiling. You are welcome to keep knees bent or work straightening one leg at a time. Maybe you're working pressing both heels to the mat. Whichever position you're working in, spine stays long, hips reach towards the ceiling, low belly stays engaged. Deep breaths in our down dog. And we'll step our right foot back into a lunge position. Inhale as you step up to half lift, flatten your back. Exhale, lower to forward fold. See if you can draw your inhale out as you slowly rise up to standing. Then exhale at the top, stand nice and tall. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale as you step your right foot back into a lunge position and hold here. Lift up to pointer and middle finger. Send chest forward. Two options to get you to high lunge. Option one is to energetically draw the thighs together and slowly lift both arms overhead as you engage the core, challenging balance. Or you can work by bringing hands to thighs and extending the arms overhead that way. Just meet me here, left knee stacked over the ankle on the ball of the right foot, pressing actively out through right heel. Both legs engaged, our glutes are engaged, our core is engaged. Open to warrior two, turning to face the left or the right side of your mat, lowering hands down to shoulder height. Right heel makes contact with the floor. Hips and shoulders are facing the long edge of your mat. You're looking out over your left hand. Left knee is right over the ankle, foot facing towards the front of the mat. Pinky edge of the right foot is lined up with the short edge of your mat. To challenge our balance, we're going to turn onto the ball of our right foot, back into lunge, lifting both arms overhead. Hey, hips square towards the front of the mat, knees stacked over the ankle. Next, exhale, back to warrior two. Right heel down, open to the long edge of your mat, lower arms to shoulder height. Your inhale, we're rotating and turning back to high lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Last time, we'll turn back to lunge. We'll step up to the top of our mat, raising arms overhead. Exhale as you bring hands down through heart center and hold them here. Raise your right knee up until it's about in line with the hip. Then step the foot back into lunge. Try not to bring your hands down to the floor until the toes touch. However you can get down to lunge though, if that doesn't work for you, is fine by me. Step back into plank. Drop the knees to tabletop. Lower down to chaturanga. Keep those elbows close to body. Inhale, baby cobra, chest lifts. Exhale to child's pose, hips to heels. Take a short rest here. Deepen the breath. Slowly meet me back in a tabletop position, hands in the knees. On your next exhale, find downward facing dog, hips up to the ceiling. Deepen the breath. Step your left foot into lunge. Inhale as you step up to half lift. Exhale as you lower to forward fold, belly to thighs. Try to draw the inhale out as you slowly rise to standing, then exhale at the top. Breath in, arms up. Breath out to forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step your left foot back into a lunge position. When you're ready, slowly lifting both arms overhead into high lunge. If you're wobbly, that's okay. We're working on our balance. Holding here, deep breaths into the chest. On your next exhale, open to warrior two, turning to face the left, lowering arms to shoulder height, left heel lowers down to floor. Hips and shoulders face the long edge of the mat, looking out over the right hand. As you inhale, we'll rotate back into high lunge, both arms overhead. We're on the ball of the left foot. Exhale, warrior two, heel comes down, arms lower down. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Last time, coming back to high lunge. Stepping up to the top of the mat, keeping arms overhead. On your next exhale, hands come down through heart center and lower down through heart center. Raising the left knee until it's about in line with the hip. Then stepping the foot back into lunge, trying to keep the hands off the floor until toes touch. Step back into a plank position. Drop knees to tabletop. Find chaturanga, lower all the way down. Deep breath in, lift chest to baby cobra. And exhale, child's pose, hips to heels. Taking a few breaths here. Filling up the sides of the body, the back side of the body. Nice deep breaths. Rise back to a tabletop position. On your next exhale, find downward facing dog. On the next inhale, right foot steps into lunge. Exhale, inhaling to half lift. Back is flat. Exhale, forward fold, belly to thighs. Inhale to slowly rise to standing. And exhale at the top. Bring your hands together back to heart center. Step your right foot back behind you so you're on the ball of the foot. Rooting down through the left foot, finding length through the spine, relaxing shoulders away from ears, engaging core, draw belly button into the spine. Hinge forward into warrior three, hinging forward at the hips, raising the right leg as we lower down. Foot stays flexed, toes down towards the floor, gaze is down towards the floor. Keep the hips in line and hold here, don't hold the breath. If you find it hard to balance here, just practice trying to raise the leg behind you, the foot a few inches off the floor at a time. Standing leg is not locked, tiny micro bend. We'll inhale and slowly rise back to standing. Switching sides, stepping the left foot back behind us on the ball of the foot. Root down through the right foot, find length, engage your core. Hinge forward into warrior three, lifting the left leg as we go. Foot is flexed. Standing leg is not locked. We're strengthening our legs, we're strengthening our core, we're improving our balance, we're holding here. Deep in the breath. On your next inhale, we'll slowly rise back to standing. Keep your hands at heart center, lower chin down towards your chest. Keep your gaze focused on one spot or close the eyes completely. And follow the natural pattern of your breath. Taking a few seconds to ourselves here. Slowing down our practice. Lower arms down at your sides, lift chin from chest. Give me a deep breath in through the nose as you lift arms out at your sides, up overhead, gaze is up. Exhale, arms sweep down at your sides. 2 more times, deep breath in, arms up, look up. Exhale. Last time, deep breath in. As you exhale, swan dive to forward fold, arms are wide out at your sides, belly comes down to thighs, and arms hang heavy. Slowly rise, half lift. Step back into plank. And slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Lower your arms along your side, palms face up to the sky. Turn your head to one side, resting on your cheek. Bring the big toes to touch, let heels fall away from one another. Wiggle the hips, side to side. And wiggle the shoulders away from ears. Find some stillness here. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth and let everything go. And gently turn your head to the opposite side. Place your chin on the mat. Place hands underneath shoulders and press yourself into child's pose one last time. Hips to heels, forehead to mat. Slowly rise to a tabletop position. Swing your feet over to one side of your mat and come into a seated position, bringing the legs forward. Feet are flexed. Grounding your sits bones onto the floor. Find length through the spine. Lift both arms overhead, drop chin to chest. Slowly round the spine into rounded back stretch, lowering hands down to the knees, pointing elbows out to either side of the mat, relaxing shoulders away from ears. Take a few deep breaths here. Trying to draw your breath to the space you feel the most sensation. Encouraging the muscles to relieve the tension that they're holding. Slowly rise out, rounded back stretch. And find staff pose by planting hands on either sides of your hips, finding length out through the crown of the head. Then relax into neutral. Bend your right knee, placing the foot on the mat. Use your left arm to hold on to the bent knee and open into twist, placing the free hand directly behind you, gazing over right shoulder. Keeping the spine long towards the ceiling, twisting from the belly first, then the ribs, and then maybe the chest. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth to unwind and face forward. Switching legs. Left knee bends. Right arm holds on as we open the twist, placing free hand behind us. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth to unwind and straighten the leg. Make sure you're sitting in the center of your mat, then bend both knees, planting feet to the floor. Place your hands on the back side of your thighs and round down until you're flat on your back. Draw both knees in towards your chest. Interlace the fingers, hold below the knees, and draw the thighs close to your body. If you feel uncomfortable in the knees here, you can hold on to the back of the thighs instead. Place both hands on just the right leg or the right thigh and extend the opposite leg down the mat into Apanasana. Both feet are flexed. The extended leg is pressing down into the mat. Bent knees drawing close to body. Switch sides, drawing left knee in, extending the right. And release. Draw both knees back in towards the chest. And release your arms down to the floor at shoulder height, palms face up towards the ceiling. Let the knees fall to the right side of the mat into reclined spinal twist, and gently turn your head to the left. If you feel any pinching or discomfort in the spine, lower the knees away from the hands. And gently let the eyes close as we prepare for our final resting pose. Start to relax the muscles around the brow. Draw your attention to your breath. Slowly draw the knees back to center and let them fall over to the left. Head turns to the right. Slowly draw both knees back to center, interlacing the fingers, holding below the knees. Eyes are still closed. Slowly lift your head to meet your knees. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold the breath at the top. Squeeze the body nice and tight into a tiny little ball. Then as you exhale out through your mouth, release into your final resting pose, laying flat on the mat, spreading legs and arms nice and wide, palms face up. Let the toes fall out. Give me another deep breath in through your nose as you exhale out through the mouth, melts onto the mat. The easiest way to find relaxation is to follow the natural pattern of your breath. Following every rise and fall of the chest or the belly. Recognizing that every time you breathe in, you're drawing an energy into the body. And as you exhale, you're releasing that energy that no longer serves you. Let the breath do the work. Just follow its movement. slowly start to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Welcome movement back to the body. And slowly roll over to the right side of your body, taking a moment of stillness on your side. Whenever you're ready, keeping your eyes closed or your gaze lowered to the floor, slowly press yourself up into any comfortable seated position. Take your time getting to seated. Just keep your ear open so you know where we're headed. As always, to finish class, we'll take 3 cleansing breaths together as one, breathing in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. We're adding movement to our breath today. As we exhale, we'll round the spine. As we inhale, we'll lift and arch. So that we're all together, we'll start on an exhale, releasing all the breath out of the body, rounding the spine, dropping chin to chest. Breathing in through the nose, filling belly first, lifting, arching, tilting head up to ceiling. Then exhale, rounding the spine, dropping chin to chest. Pressing breath out of the belly last. Breath in for 2 as you lift and arch. Nice slow movement, deep breath. Exhale out through mouth, rounding spine, dropping chin to chest. Last time, deepest breath yet as you draw in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth, chin to chest. Take a second to thank yourself for getting on the mat today, taking this time out for your practice. I'd like to thank you for letting me lead you on this practice. There is a light that exists within me that honors and respects the light that exists within you. Thanks for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed the class. There's a new version of this class aired every Thursday. If you're looking for something a little more challenging and you like my style, I also teach a core yoga class, and a new version of that is aired every Sunday. We've got lots of classes to offer, not just yoga. Try them out. Let us know what you think, and I hope to see you again next week. Enjoy the rest of your day.